All right, first and foremost, before I begin, all praise, honor, and glory is to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. I also want to give double honors to my teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone. Honors to all you fellow laborers out there diligently pushing his word in all true faith and sincerity in the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So I want to entitle this video, The Mystery of the Red Dragon, all right? Which you will find in Revelation, the 12th chapter, which a lot of you people out there who are unlearned and unskilled in the scriptures, you read, this precept concerning the red dragon, and you equate it with some man underground with horns in a red spandex suit, all right? The devil waiting on your soul so he can torment you forever and ever, which is not biblical, all right? That's all cunningly devised fable, which goes back to Greek mythology, all right? However, the red dragon that you read about in Revelation, the 12th chapter, is symbolic, and it's pretty much a parable concerning the so-called white man, all right? Because the white man is not white, all right? He's red. Whenever this man show any type of emotion, whether he laugh, cry, get angry, get excited, well, he turns red, which is a characteristic of the devil, all right? That great red dragon who took peace from the earth, all right? And who is pretty much rebellious in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right? The true power of the Bible, all right? So I want to just go right into it. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. Yeah, so pretty much this dragon, all right, represents the so-called white man in his entire body of work, all right? From his inception, when he first came into power, to his end times, when he will be taken out of power, all right? This red dragon represents his body of work, all right? The 7 heads being the 7 rulerships, all right, from the French, all right, Spanish Empire, Greece, all the empires of the so-called white man, all right? The 10 horns, all right, would represent NATO, okay? When you go into the beginnings of NATO, it started off with 10 nations, all right? Now it has been broken off into, I believe, maybe 24 nations. But this red dragon is dealing with so-called white man and his entire body of work, a timeline of the rulership of the so-called white man, if you will, all right? Verse 4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. Right, so with any body of work or with any rulership, you have the head of a rulership, then you have a tail end, all right? So this tail of the dragon represents the latter part of his rulership, all right? Like you might say, well, we at the tail end of something. Well, that's what this scripture is talking about in a parabolistic, allegorical way, all right? This is representing the tail end of the so-called white man's rulership. It said the tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth, meaning those stars of heaven represents the Israelites, the true Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right? So at the tail part of this white man's rulership, he cast us down, all right? Going all the way back to 70 AD when the Israelites was fleeing from the Roman onslaught, all right? The Roman persecution which came on our people. We fled into the interiors of West Africa, all right? And where hence we was taken into slavery years later, all right? So with that tail, the so-called white man cast us down to the earth, all right? It says, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it were born. Now, I want to jump down to Salakia. I want to jump to the 17th verse. It says, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman." All right, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Now, we have established that the dragon is the so-called white man. Well, who is the woman? Well, the woman would be the nation of Israel. All right, the woman would be the nation of Israel. It says, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed." And the remnant of her seed will be you Israelites that are here today on the planet. Because so-called white man is going to declare all out war on you, man. All right? Which, when you read in the scriptures, Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, the 7th verse, it speaks about the time of Jacob's trouble. That's going to be the time where the so-called white man is going to be wroth with the remnant of Israel, all right? It says, "Which keep the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach." So the so-called white man is getting ready to demonize the men such as myself and other brothers you see that's pushing his word, all right, who have the testimony of Yahweh Shah, all right? So now as we jump around in Revelation, the 12th chapter, this is Revelation 12 in verse 9. "And the great dragon," all right, which is so-called white man, "was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world." Now the key word right there is that old serpent, okay? Now where else will you find that phrase serpent? Well, in the book of Genesis, all right? Genesis, the 3rd chapter, in verse 15. "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." Matter of fact, let me jump up for better understanding, all right? This is verse 14. "And the Lord power said unto the serpent," all right? Now, we just read in Revelation where it said the dragon, that old serpent. The reason why it says old serpent, because it's found in the Old Testament, all right? This is that same serpent, okay? It says, "And the Lord power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat." Right, and how he's cursed? Because he has no pigment in his skin. These white people had to go and get suntans, and they know it's something off in their spirit about that, because if they was comfortable with that, they wouldn't even bother going to a tanning salon, all right? They know that they're incomplete. So that's a part of that curse, all right? It says, "All the days of thy life, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." So when you go back to Revelation, the 12th chapter, because the curse was that the Lord was going to put enmity between the serpent and the woman, all right? When you go back to Revelation, the 12th chapter, it says, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman." So you see how the scriptures all come together, all right? "And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach." Now let's jump back to Revelation 12 and 3. "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head." Now this is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. Now I start at verse I start at verse 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So to set the stage, this is dealing with the two twins that was in Rebecca's womb, all right? Who was two different nations, Esau and Jacob, all right? Jacob being the Israelites and Esau being the father or the forefather of the Edomites, which today are you so-called white people, or should I say you so-called red people, thus the red dragon. All right, verse 23, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So there's no coincidence why he came out red. And when you read in Revelation, the 12th chapter, it speaks about, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. All right? So the Bible is a dark, hidden book, all right, which you got to have the understanding to know what it's talking about. And part of the reason this book was written in this manner was to preserve these writings. Because if the Lord would have came right out and said, look, the so-called white man, he's going to come against you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He's going to put hell on you, but I'm going to come and I'm going to deliver you, and you're going to take them into captivity, all right? Then this white man would have destroyed these books, which when you go in history, I think they had a thing called the Bible Destruction Group, where you had some Edomites, some of these so-called white people to come out and try to destroy the book because they got a glimpse of what the Bible was talking about. All right? That's why those certain sayings, which there's nothing hidden from the Most High, you got these certain sayings of the world like red-blooded American, all right? Well, that all goes back to the characteristics, or should I say the character or the depiction of the devil, all right? So that's pretty much it. It's a lot of it's a lot of variables that go along with this lesson. Lord willing, I might do a series on this because it's a lot that goes into this. I just didn't really want to make it that long, all right, just for attention span's sake, all right? So, because you know how Jake is. Jake see a video 20 minutes, they ain't watching it, all right? So, yeah, Lord willing, we'll go back into this because to me personally, this is a very interesting topic. The way the Heavenly Father set this up in his wonderful, marvelous wisdom, okay? And set it up as a parable, all right? Which, without a doubt, 100% undisputed fact, this is dealing with so-called white man, all right? So until the next time, I say shalom.